to another episode of
The Struggle is Real!
Where are your Jasmine? God damn it. Anyway, hi, I'm your host, Mahalia Latorchu.
I'm Erik Francisco
You
Medina.
can stop it now.
I'm Erik Francisco Medina.
And I'm Ryan Back.
Alright, guys. So, before we dive into our interview today, which is with Kayla Sutton, who is an actress, writer, and director, we're going to jump into our topic of the day.
Ooh.
So, our topic of the day is, how do you guys feel about white actors voicing non-white roles?
Okay, talk, Ryan.
That was a heavy sigh.
Opinion.
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like it's okay as long as it's the right voice for the role.
I understand what you're saying,
Uh-huh.
but you take away opportunities for
From people
actors,
of color.
voice actors of color to
Uh-huh.
portray their own voices. And you have for example, the last Star Wars game, Jedi the Order, the Fallen Order, whatever.
The game, right?
The main villain of the story is a woman of color, and she is voiced by a woman of color, who it's I don't know if you can Google it right now and confirm the actress name, but she plays the second sister. I don't know. They have a thousand sisters, but she's the one portraying that role, and it fits. Yes, here you go. It's Elizabeth Grujon, the second sister, Elizabeth Grujon. So she portrays that bad guy, and she's actually Dominican. Look at that. She's Dominican. She was born in New York from Dominican parents, and that character, it's the villain is a character of color, as you can see here. Okay. So it fits the role. Not only the voice is something that it's accurate for the character, but you're bringing an opportunity for a voice actor of color to come in for the role. And it's still controversial because you still have one of my favorite games is Final Fantasy, and the recent game, they're basically Asian characters, and most of the people who were voice acting the characters were white actors.
Kind of like the
and
Prince
even
of Egypt.
though they are translating that to English game.
For Final Fantasy,
weird.
At least, because you're marketing to the U.S. audience, so you have to get a fluent speaker and who is.
But don't you think that what if they find a fluent speaker?
Then
Asian
I'm all over it. But
speaker.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, isn't it a little bit difficult to find a person who's Asian and a fluent actor? I mean, fluent in English, and on top of that, wants to be a voice actor. I guess it's
it's gotta be.
I don't think that it's that difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only say that because there has been such a push for Asian movies as well, because they want to see their cultures reflected.
Right.
So then it has to lead me to believe that there are a lot of actors who are willing to get these roles.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, there was not a lot of Asian roles.
Right.
For a lot of people. So I feel like there's a good amount of actors. They just haven't been able to have those chances.
Do you think it was intentionally they weren't given a chance, or is it because it was difficult to find them?
I just think that it was Hollywood. It's let's just get the white guy in here. I mean, no, but it is because as we know, our industry is industry of word of mouth.
Right.
So it's Bob bringing in his other friend Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like,
and if they you're not gonna have people coming in for roles if they don't know that they have roles. In the same way, it's gonna be difficult for companies to find voice actors of color because they were not given
Included.
those opportunities.
Right.
And maybe my
it's
Final
like a
Fantasy.
cycle.
Yeah, maybe my Final Fantasy example was maybe a little weak because I don't know if those characters have a race or ethnic attached to it because Cloud is a blonde kid. So I don't know for that. But for example, a character like the bad guy from Jedi Fallen Order, she is a woman of color. So
Right.
you're gonna see that she needs to be acted by somebody who is a person of color.
Okay. So, okay, I get that. But what if the Star Wars is marketed to a different country, like maybe Korea or China or India? I feel like you have to get someone who is a fluent speaker, one.
Yeah.
And I don't think...
I think that maybe I think the translation.
You're talking about dubbing for other
Dubbing?
audiences.
Yeah.
Right, obviously that has to be authentic, but we're talking about the original roles.
Original.
Like if there was if this this is just a US thing.
Okay, if it's just a US
So
thing.
original roles.
Yes, we're
Okay.
talking about original roles.
Okay.
Obviously if it's dubbing they have to get people who
Right.
speak
Yeah, I
fluent.
get that.
Right.
But like original roles. Like so Kristen Bell?
Yes.
Kristen Bell
Playing in-
is stepping down from her role
As
as
a biracial kid. She was voicing a biracial character in Central.
and Big Mouth, right?
No, Big Mouth was...
That was the other girl.
Alison Brie,
Yes.
she was voicing a black character.
Yes.
Okay.
And she stepped down because she wasn't a black actress. And with Kristen Bell, I think it's Central.
Oh, it was Jenny Slate.
Yeah, but the show is called Central Perk, Central something. I don't remember. But the
Central
characters-
Park, you're correct.
Central Park. So it was she was a biracial character.
Okay.
And I think Kristen Bell was one of the first actresses to step down on
Kristen.
role. Yeah.
Not Kristen.
No, Kirsten is our friend. Sorry, we love you, Kirsten. So Kristen Bell was one of the first characters who stepped out of a role that she wasn't.
Well,
quote, unquote, fit.
even the guy who played Cleveland Brown in
Oh,
Family
yeah.
Guy.
Yeah.
So that was a white man voicing Cleveland Brown.
Okay.
And for that role, I'm like, that definitely should have been like a black person because there are. I mean, Family Guy is obviously a raunchy comedy and stuff, but they play with a lot of different stereotypes and stuff like that. And so I'm like, probably should have been a person of color. But I think what my biggest qualm is with the whole thing is this is coming a little too late.
Yeah.
I feel like Cleveland Brown has been around for like how long now? Years, forever. I just feel like people are. I feel like people are just reacting to what's happening with the times and not doing it's not coming from a place of we should do this because
it's wrong.
It was wrong. It's let's do it now before we get backlash.
Right.
Now, I mean, with Kristen Bell, I completely feel like she was like, no, like I'm done. Like I feel like she's one of the few people that actually means what she says. But now with all of these, and Jenny Slate too, but now with like all these people just randomly stepping down now, I'm just like, how many of you are actually doing this because you think it's wrong, and how many of you are just doing this because you rather not receive the backlash and not have Black Twitter crucify you?
And sorry, Alison Brie was from Horseman, BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman.
She was playing a Vietnamese character. That was Alison Brie. You were right. Jenny Slate was the one. You were right. But it also takes away again, like it goes back to one of my pet peeves from the industry. It takes away from actors and voice actors of color to be in an industry. And you have a lot of, I think voice acting is one of the most underrepresented art forms Same with the tattoo industry. You don't have a lot of tattoo artists of colors, and it's about time that the industry takes a like proactive step to letting these voices become, normal, normalize the diversity.
Okay, I mean, I'm all for diversity.
No, we know, but
it honestly wasn't something I was thinking about at first. Like,
what if a person of color is doing a voice acting for like a white role? What do you guys think of that?
I mean, that rarely happens.
It rarely happens. I can't think of any examples, but like, if that happens, do you think it should only be for white voice actors only, for white characters? Or can it be people of color can also like voice act for like other race?
I think that would fly if it was equal across the board. But because there's a disparity between both. Like it is clearly a whole bunch of white people voicing people of color. So like I can't even like respond to that because there's that's not the reality.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird because obviously a character should stick to the actor should stick to the race of the character.
Right.
But like Mahalia is saying, it's not normal that a person of color is voicing a white act. I mean, I don't remember, and I like to research, voice actors a lot.
Yeah, because
I like that. I like that art form. Animation. I like gaming. So I like looking for the actors who portray these characters.
Right.
But it's weird for a person of color to voice a white character.
Right.
And even though, I mean, it's weird. But
I feel like it's very difficult because like.
But
this is a weird thing to talk about.
Right. It's weird. But if you
it's worth the conversation.
Yes.
Because there's clearly some issues there.
Yeah, but for example, you want to cast an actor of color, just let me know what you guys think about that. But if you want to cast an actor of color in an all white animated show, there's nothing else for them to act, to voice. So they will have to voice a white actor because there's no other representation there. Right. So, it's also comes to being represented on animated films. Again, like we were talking, one of the first animated films that I saw people of color and people that look like me was The Prince of Egypt.
And it was all voiced by white people.
Yeah, and you have also Avatar: The Last Airbender, which there was like the two friends from the water tribe from the South Pole. You know that the Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was Avatar and then the two kids.
Katara. And what's her brother's name?
Gosh.
So
that was something.
Katara and her brother, they're brown. So when I saw that, I was like, hey, look, Katara. Brown people, like me and my family. So those were the two things that I remember in Proud Family. That's it for me. So there was not a lack of characters. There was lack of colored characters in television.
Sokka, that was his name.
Ahsoka.
Sokka. I don't know. We butchering these names. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, we definitely need more characters of color.
Yeah.
That's.
No, I agree. There should be more. It's just, I feel like it's weird. It's a gray area.
It's weird because you're like, it's animation.
Yeah.
But it's also like, but there are voice actors who want these roles, who need these roles, and aren't getting these roles.
Exactly. That's the issue. The issue is that actors of color are not getting hired because they're not getting hired, and people are voicing.
Like if it was fair across the board, then I'd be like, whatever, voice whoever you want.
Gotcha.
But because it's not fair, it's an overwhelming amount of minorities who don't get these roles. It's like, now that you have these characters, give them to people of color.
Do you think this issue would be solved if, I guess, the animators creates more like colored
characters.
But that's the thing, right? Even in Simpsons, they have people of color in The Simpsons.
They were voiced by
but they were voiced by white actors.
And now, this year, it was the year that The Simpsons was like, people of color in The Simpsons are gonna be voiced by. That's too late. I'm sorry, today. I mean, this week you have done that like last time, like last decade.
Oh gosh, Simpsons has been running for like forever too.
Forever, and today is that they decide that non-white characters are gonna be voiced by non-white actors, and it's just like, that took long, you know.
Yep.
It's not, and the issue is not in the animation per se, because I think that animators, I mean, we're gonna interview some animators soon, but we can definitely talk to them about this.
Right.
But it comes from casting. I think it comes from casting.
Okay, so it's mainly
actively
from casting.
Gotcha. Casting.
I think it's a name clout too, right? Like they're trying to get
that's true.
Like A-list celebrities' names like attached to these animations.
Right.
But as we can see, Oscar's so white. There's still that disparaging amount of people of color who are still not getting roles, period. So it's a lot.
It's a definitely it's a tough, like, we don't know the right answer, I guess, like, so I guess it's difficult.
I mean, it is. I mean, this is the right answer technically. Like, give those characters to people of color.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. There's nothing else to do.
There's really not much else to say. It's just so weird that it's happening now.
Yeah, and voice actors of color are out there. You know, they're actively looking for these roles.
I mean, freaking Kerry Washington just posted, any animators looking for a black voice, I'm available. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So people of color want to portray, and they're there. You know, just if a production company wants to find an actor of color to fit a character of color, they can find it. It's not that difficult.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's that difficult. You know, we have Instagram. It just might
require a little bit more time and a little bit more effort on your part, but I mean, if you want to do things the right way.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that wraps up this conversation.
For sure.
As you can tell, we're tired. These conversations.
It drains you for
like,
sure.
It's very mentally draining because you're like, every time you feel like you're taking a step forward, it's like 3 steps backwards.
Yeah.
And it gets exhausting.
It is.
But that'll wrap up our topic for the day. Good discussion, guys. Good discussion. And I am going to introduce Kayla.
That's right.
Kayla is a good friend of ours. Kayla Sutton is an American actress, writer, and director. She made her theater debut in 2015, performing in a local Atlanta stage play, and has since transitioned from theater to film. You can catch Kayla in several independent features, promotions, and short films. Her short screenplay, SSB, has won Best Comedy Short Screenplay at the 2019 Georgia Shorts Film Festival, and has also been an official selection in festivals such as the Independent Talents International Film Festival 2019 and the Indie Visions Film Festival 2019.
Awesome.
Yes, Kayla is very accomplished. And we can't wait to jump into this conversation.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and call her now.
So Kayla, how are you today?
All right, I'm doing okay. How are you?
We're excited to have you in our podcast. Kayla is an amazing filmmaker, and I think this is going to be a dope conversation. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm an actress / screenwriter / PA / a couple other things based in Atlanta. Yeah.
That's great. That's / everything /
Right.
filmmaker.
That's how you got to be in this industry nowadays. Slash everything. So what got you interested in filmmaking?
Well, I've always been into like performing arts. So I did like theater growing up. And so when I kind of went to college, I did theater too, but I realized I was more into film and movies. And I've always grown up watching movies and things like that. So just, I've always kind of wanted to be a part of the process.
The process. Okay, and what exactly made you jump to film, being a theater actress?
Theater, I love theater, but theater, I feel like sometimes you have to kind of emphasize some things, and I feel like film is more grounded in terms of acting. So I've just always been more drawn to that side of it.
Yeah, so it's maybe not as big as you would say. It's more contained.
Yeah, you don't have to kind of exaggerate some. And I love theater and things, but I would say that acting is different. So I've just always been more of film.
Okay, yeah.
So we know that you're a writer. So one of our favorite things to ask writers who are also actresses, how do those two art forms for you coincide? Like, how do they help each other?
So, well, the reason I got into screenwriting to begin with was just because I kind of wanted to see more roles that reflected me and people like me. So I feel like it's a good opportunity, especially when you are a writer/actor, to kind of write the roles you want to see and the roles that you want to be handed as an actress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just kind of create those opportunities for yourself. So I feel like it really goes hand in hand because if you want to see something, just make it in a sense. So.
Right. So what kind of stories do you write about then?
I try to write things that, again, like kind of reflect my life or some roles that I can see myself doing. Not to say that I only write roles for me, but just roles that if someone handed me that as an actress, I would go, oh, okay. Or roles that are kind of like layered characters and characters that kind of are more than one-dimensional. Yeah, because I know from an acting standpoint how it feels to be handed a script that, the character looks like you, but you can't relate. The character's one-dimensional. It's just very flat. So
do you feel that sometimes the people who write those roles do not have a complete understanding of a character? Because you were saying that you wanted to write more characters that look like you. Do you feel that it's just people who maybe are just writing to fill a little box, or is it just maybe lack of skill of writing, or maybe it's just not understanding completely or researching character and their maybe ethnic background and cultural background?
I feel like it can be all of them. It depends on the project. Like, it depends. If it's like an indie thing, like I know when I was first auditioning, it was like a lot of just indie films from people that I didn't have experience, they didn't really have experience, so it would be like a lack of experience. But when it gets to like stuff that's more union based and you audition for those things, it can get to like checking a box. So I think it kind of hits all the points you were saying. It just depends on what it is, but it depends on who's writing it and who's behind the scenes too.
And can you usually tell which one is it?
You can usually tell, because there's been a few things where I've been sent a script and it's been for like a show or something, and it's just kind of like, oh, this. I mean, and sometimes it's the role too. Like the character's just there for like a second, so they may say something that's like, okay, but you can usually tell. I feel like
okay.
Now, you've participated in a lot of festivals and got into, that we know of, like a good amount. So what's the biggest advice you can give to someone who wants to start submitting their films or screenplays to festivals?
Biggest advice? I would say, it sounds so cliche, but like believe in what you're writing. Because the one specifically that I did enter, I got a lot of, I guess, positive feedback. I would say that one took me a long time to write. I've been writing that one since like 2016. And so that one's more personal-ish because it stems from my own personal experiences. So I would just
Is this the SSB?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what it was about?
Yeah, so it's like an acronym for Single Since Birth. So so it's just the conflicting I guess, experiences that come from being someone who is just kind of trying to figure out why they can't seem to find anyone. So that's kind of what it's about.
That's dope. Do you usually feel maybe it's easier to write, I guess, from your own perspective or your own experiences, or do you find it hard to go back and write about yourself?
I don't necessarily find it hard to write about it, but more of like when I'm starting to share it.
Yeah.
I want to keep it to myself because it's something that's the time of feedback when you get it. It's scary because it's something that is so personal to you. So it's not only getting feedback on the actual, I guess the technical side of it, but also like you don't want people to judge you in a way for what your life is.
Yeah. And how do you deal with feedback, especially when it's so personal in many of your scripts?
I actually really, I really just appreciate it when it comes down to it, because my sister is someone that I send my scripts to sometimes, and she'll like tear it apart. But at the end of the day, I really appreciate her for being so honest. I honestly I appreciate it, because if someone took the time to read it and even critique it, even if it's like, oh, you should change this and that. And most people they're not rude about it, so
Yeah.
And how did you go about learning to write screenplays? Did you take classes, go to school for it, or was it something that you learned on your own?
So no, I just learned. I read a lot of scripts too, and I still read scripts for like the Atlanta Film Festival, and I do volunteer like critiquing those. So reading them actually has helped a lot. So I would say reading.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And as a writer, what's in your opinion? What stories do you feel that are the strongest? Do you think that maybe human stories are the strongest, or maybe stories that completely deviate from reality? What do you think?
I don't know if I have like I like human stories. I would say there's been some pretty strong ones to come out recently, but I would also say that like just you can tell when someone's dedicated to telling a specific story. Regardless of if it's like based in reality or not, like if, as long as the dedication is there, then I feel like, or the authenticity of it is there, then I feel like it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So right now, female filmmakers are still extremely underrepresented in the industry. So how do you think we can go about fixing that gap?
Well, I really think it's representation in like every single tier, because I've been seeing some threads and stuff on Twitter about this, and like giving people of color even the opportunities on every single level. And that's honestly how, like, why I have some of the gigs and stuff that I've worked on is just women giving me opportunities. Now that I think about it, I was thinking about that last night. I was just like, women have been the ones to like let me be on like the sets I've been on and stuff, like when it comes to union stuff. It just it's just I think it's just about giving people the opportunity on every single step of the way. So I think that matters when it comes to like what we see in television and who we see higher up. It all starts somewhere. So I think I guess in not just entry level positions, but also like letting women be on staff in the rooms and stuff like that, and writers rooms and things like that.
Yeah, and obviously we're seeing that there's this change happening in our industry. But since you have worked in a lot of union sets, do you feel that change that we're seeing maybe in social media, is it being represented in the sets that you are working on?
See, that's another part, because it's but I'm also like entry level positions.
Yeah.
So it depends on the set, because I was working on one that was specifically dedicated to like the Black woman on the conversation. So that was like the first time I've seen on a set of that scale, kind of like Black women in like the DPs and Black women as the directors and Black women like on every single spectrum of that. But on other sets, it is kind of just more so entry level positions. Do I see women? I mean, which is a start, but
yeah,
it comes to like the DPs and everyone else, it's mostly men. So
yeah.
Could you talk about that experience? Because the Black woman on the conversation, that was an Oprah Winfrey production.
Yes.
So can you talk about what you did on that and what that experience was like for you?
So I worked as a audience coordinator. So slash kind of PA, but more so an audience coordinator. But that was my job was basically to bring the audience in, make sure they're signed off, and make sure they come in, sit where they're supposed to, and leave where they're supposed to. And also my job specifically also was to kind of seat them. So for that job, I was able to like kind of color coordinate where they sat at and move people around. But I also had to like lead them to the bathroom and stuff like that. So yeah, and do whatever else. If someone's like, hey, can you make sure this is, you know, so. But that's what I did on that set. That was actually the set I was supposed to work on back in March. Again, we were doing season 2, and everything got.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So how many episodes did you do, or did you work on?
Right around 4 episodes. I think there was only 4 for that.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Has it been released yet?
Yeah, that first season was released last year, but
oh my god, I'm so behind on the times. Jesus Christ.
You can watch the first one on YouTube. I think it has Abrams. It has Stacey Abrams in it, I think.
Oh. We love Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
That was
and
nice experience.
Yeah, I imagine she's amazing. Stacey Abrams is amazing. Staying on that topic, you kind of spoke a little bit about the change that you want to see in the film industry, but let's stick to that and maybe expand on what exactly do you want to see in the industry that now there's a lot of conversations of actually having a lot of representation and having a lot of diverse stories. What exactly do you want to see in this new change?
I want to see, I guess I want to first see it come from a place that's authentic and not just, oh, okay, this is what we need to do, so let's do it. And I want it to actually come from a place where we actually give people the opportunities to tell their stories.
Yeah.
So I guess what I want to see is, I want to see more people have opportunities, because a lot of even people of color and women don't even get the opportunity to even get in the door to begin with. So
Yeah.
I guess I want to see more people give us a helping hand in a way. Of course, we have to work for it like we always do, but just to be more lenient to the fact that, okay, let's have these people, because it's kind of like we're still in an industry where you have to have experience to even get more experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a person of color or a woman, it's just harder to even get that experience. So it's just a revolving door of you trying to get experience. So I guess I want to see more people give us opportunities that we've been working for this whole time. Because it's not like even with like the voice acting going on, people are stepping down. It's like, it's not like there was an actor available at the time. So even though they're stepping down, it's like we need more opportunities for people of color to be on screen. Because even so, it's like you look at the cast of those things and you look at what the characters look like. There's like one Black character on the whole show. So it's like just there are opportunities to put representation where it should have been, especially when things are based out of like New York and California. It's like those places are heavily diverse, and most shows take places in heavily diverse areas. So it's just like, don't miss out on the opportunities to begin with instead of having to make reparations. So yeah.
That was literally something we were just talking about, was how do we feel about white actors voicing non-white characters.
Yeah.
And it was something that, like, me personally, it wasn't something that I had really thought about. But, like, when I start thinking about voice actors, I'm like, oh, yeah, there are a lot of people of color who are voice actors, and they're not getting those roles. And it's just a tiring conversation to have, because it feels so weird that we're having this conversation in 2020 when it feels like we should have had this conversation 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And can you give us your opinion on that, on why non-white actors should be the one to portray non-white characters? I mean, animated characters.
It all comes down to representation. Like, if we had the same amount of Black people and people of color playing these characters as we do white people, then no one would really have an issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was telling Ryan. That's exactly what I said. Yeah.
I mean, because it's like, if we had equal representation, then no one would have an issue. But
Right.
it's the fact that when that happens, Black actors time and time again, and actors of color, it's not only just Black, but we don't get opportunities that could have been for us, and it's just like, oh well, we're not going to give it to you because white person complained. So
Yeah.
No, we definitely agree. It's just such an exhausting conversation to have. And like I was telling them, I don't know how many people are stepping down because they actually believe that it's wrong, and how many people are stepping down because they fear Black Twitter. And so
completely agree, because it was after Jenny Slate.
Yes.
That was after it was after her, where everyone was like, yeah, me too. And it's just like, cool, but
yeah, how genuine are you being right now?
Like you already made the money. Like the person who
that's completely true. We
the
forgot
guy,
about that.
The guy who voices Cleveland Brown, I'm like, you already made the money. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you can retire now, so thank you for your sacrifice. I don't know.
That's completely true.
You already made the money, yeah. And you're still going to get residuals. You're getting those residual checks no matter what.
Yeah, I know that's true. I know if every residual check goes to Black Lives Matter, then maybe
Yeah.
Ooh,
but we haven't seen that yet from him.
That's the thing. There's a lot of talk, a lot of action, but there's not a lot of money being put towards people's actions.
Show us your donations. That's the new hashtag. Show us your donations. This is tiring for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's tiring too, because people don't realize how far down it goes. Like they don't realize how deep it goes, and so they're like, "What does this have to do with it?" It's like it has everything to do with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you ever maybe had an instance where you realized that character, staying in the voice acting route, have you ever realized that a character was being portrayed by a white actor, like in a show or something?
Oh, like that I was watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like the Big Mouth. Like I saw Jenny Slate, and then the character she was playing, I was like,
yeah.
Misty.
You're like, wait a second.
Like we see this all the time, so it's just like, I feel a type of way, but I was just like, what?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
That's how I felt about Prince of Egypt. I was like, I love the movie. The animation is correct, 100%. And then you get to the voice actors, and you're like, damn, all the colors in the animation.
And not in the.
And that's
That's just annoying. Let's say that.
Let's say that. Lion King, I feel like, is one of the movies that tried to compensate for that. Because the new Lion King had all, the majority of them were.
Most of them. Like the main cast, though, I think they were all Black.
I still haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how good it is.
I told you, it's just the same thing.
Copy paste.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I heard the animation was too off. Like people were complaining about.
I mean, I think it was because it was too real. You couldn't get the facial expressions, obviously, of a lion.
We've been spoiled with Disney and their facial expressions with animals and stuff like that. Like, we've been spoiled by them. So I think when they did the real life, we were like,
yeah, and
what the hell?
When you look back to this is one of my favorite movies, Jungle Book. That it was basically the first live action of an animal movie, I guess, whatever. It worked because you have a human little kid who you can have those emotions, bring those emotions out of those animals.
The story is about Mowgli.
Yeah, so. That's true. I mean, well, Kayla, in your opinion, what exactly makes a good character? Now that we have been talking about a lot of characters, what do you think that is like the cornerstone of writing a character?
I mean, again, just trying to make them as real, because real people are not, one-dimensional. Real people are not just comic relief. Real people have actual emotions, and they come from another place, and their way that they react to a situation isn't just, a blatant, oh, this is how everyone reacts when they're angry. So I feel like making characters that are just as layered as actual people and trying to keep it grounded in that. So I feel like that's where. Huh?
No, and have you ever have seen maybe a film that you see a character and you're like, that's not right, that's not accurate?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of what specific show I've been watching where.
For Erik, it's West Side Story.
Which one?
Don't
For Erik, it's West Side Story.
Don't get
he
me
hates
started.
West Side Story.
Don't
with
get me.
passion.
That's a racist movie.
We'll talk about that's going to be our next topic of the day.
Yes, I wrote my whole thesis on it. But continue, Kayla.
I feel like I can't think of anything right now, but I feel like there's been a lot of shows where I'm like, nobody acts like that.
Yeah.
Nobody says that. I mean, nobody, and like even so, like when there's woman characters and stuff, and it's like no woman says that. Like I was reading a script once, and it was none of the women characters were. I mean, the main character was a woman, and it's like nobody acts like this.
Yeah. Oh, I have a moment. It was in Euphoria, season 1, the first episode. Sorry, in season 1, the first episode. Zendaya's character says something like, "I'm only 18 and the world is ending." Something like along those lines.
Oh, like really, yeah.
Like really,
I think I remember.
It felt so cliche. I was like, no one talks like this. it took me out of the whole episode. Like I had to rewind it because I was like, I know this bitch not to just actually say that. Like you're talking to a drug dealer, you talking about. Like, I don't know. It just felt so inauthentic. And I was like, who wrote this?
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like a middle-aged white man wrote this line because it was very John Green is what it was. And I'm like, that's not her character.
Yeah.
She wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But that's true. I've seen that so many times. Like,
yeah.
And even so, like when stuff happens in a show or something, and it's like the character's a person of color, and it's like, they have some encounter with a police officer. It's like it wouldn't, like sometimes it's like stuff wouldn't go over that way. Like it's just the certain circumstances are like no.
Yeah.
Or like the way people talk to certain people is like no.
Yeah, and one thing that oh my god. Okay, so the 70s show, Fez character. That character
Which
always played by Wilmer Guademara is his last name. You know the 70 shows, right? With Ashton Kutcher.
I know the show.
So
I didn't
the only
watch
brown
it enough to know.
actor. See, he was playing.
Oh, the stereotypical.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was basically this kid. He was always the pun of the joke, and he was like nobody knew where he was from, and it was always like this mystery. I don't know if you've seen that show, Kayla, but
No.
Yeah, so it's basically he's always the mystery and nobody knows where he is, and it goes through the entire season. I don't even remember that they actually revealed it, and it was just this thick accent, and he was kind of it was always the foreign kid, the foreigner. Do they say?
No, you're right.
It's
Fez's country of origin is one of the longest running gags on the show.
And it's just
throughout all 8 seasons, his nationality remains a mystery, even to his closest friends.
Yeah, and you never revealed it. And I'm like, if I know, I get it's a comedy, but if for example, pretty sure they wanted to portray a Hispanic character because the way that he acts in the accents.
According to Wikipedia, it says Fez is often assumed to be of Hispanic or Latino descent, but it is never revealed.
Yeah, so it's just true. Like. What are you trying to do with it? What are you trying to I don't know. I just feel
that type of that's the kind of stuff I don't like. But there's so much of that. Like there's so much. I feel like you can kind of see things shifting, but there's so much of like nobody acts like that.
Yeah.
I guess I like to be handed stuff where it's like, oh, okay, this is great. Like the writing is there and the attention to how actual people act is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
But we talked about you a lot as a writer, but as an actress, one of the things that I like to ask actors is, what is your method of acting? Like, are you a student of Meisner, Stella Adler? Like, who do you gravitate more towards?
I would say more towards Meiser, but not. I don't really have any type of like. I don't really go towards methods as much, just because I've never really been into that. Like it's never. Yeah, even throughout like theater and stuff, well, I guess it's different, but they don't really. I don't really go into. I do go into like, okay, how does that person react to this, and like, where would that emotion come from? What are the different ways you can portray that emotion? You got it, like that type of stuff.
Right.
I don't go into like.
So how do you go about building a character as an actress? Like, what is your approach to that?
For me, I try to find where I can sort of like relate to the person. I mean, that's after like you break down the scene and okay, what happens before, and I try to break down like the character and what I can see in the script and try to build onto what I feel that character is, where they're coming from, with what they're saying, and then try to play around with, okay, what if they did it this way and how would they react if it happened this way and yada yada. So I try to build it more from what I feel that character has experienced in the past, but also what they're going through in the present. It's kind of how I try to build off of it.
I agree. As a actress, what's the best advice that you have ever received?
I'm not sure if it was the best advice. I mean, I did. I can tell you like the best like class I was kind of taking, but I don't know. So it was like a voice and movement class I was taking before acting, and it was kind of like to just let the character kind of breathe in the space that you have for them. So like you're set on doing a scene one way, to try to take it from different ways and different perspectives. And I guess that was really helpful to me, because I think sometimes when we get really attached to a character, you can start doing things in one way.
Yeah.
So that was really good advice.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
What is an obstacle that you have had to overcome during your course as either a writer or an actress? Like, what is one main obstacle you had to overcome?
I think it was like, for me, and I'm sure many actors, it's like the discouragement. It's a industry where in both writing and acting, you get more no's than you do yes. So most of it is actually no. And it's getting past that and like, okay, what are you gonna do? And it's something else that I heard, and it was something that now I try to live by, and it's, if you were to never get to where like your highest goal is, would you still do it? And that's kind of what I have to keep pushing past like every day, especially now in quarantine. Like my last audition was like March 4, like from my agent. It's like, so it's like, oh man.
Yeah.
And how do you keep yourself encouraged personally?
I've tried to, that's why I feel like I write and I do so much other stuff, is because I try to like put my energy into something else. On acting, because that really helps that I write and I try to do other things and help other people on set and do all this other stuff, because if I was just acting, I don't know if I would. I think I would.
Yeah. I understand that. So we have our final question, and the most important question of this podcast, and it is, what is your favorite movie and what's your favorite show?
My favorite show is Mr. Robot. That's for sure. Like
I remember that. I think we talked about that at some point.
I have not seen it, but I want to so badly.
It's really good.
It's on my list.
Very good. So that's my favorite show, like hands down. And then my favorite movie depends on like where I was at that time of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
5 years old. So one of my favorite movies, golly.
We know it's a difficult question.
My favorite movie.
Yeah.
I don't know my favorite movie. Because like now I can't think of any movies I've ever watched. All the movies are just done. I don't.
So give us maybe a top three or something of movies that you
or movies you think other people should absolutely watch.
Absolutely one. Okay, one of my favorite documentaries is actually 13. I think that's like a must.
By Ava DuVernay. Okay.
Yes.
It's on Netflix, guys. This is a very good time to watch it.
YouTube for free. It's free on YouTube right now.
It's free on YouTube. Okay.
There you go, guys.
Who was that? But that's it's just a good documentary. Like even when I first watched it, it's really good. So that one's up there, and then I would also say I really like Captain America: Winter Soldier. That's honestly it's one of my favorite movies.
Oh.
Winter Soldier. Yeah.
There was a point in my life where I was watching that like every day, like almost every week.
Really?
Yes, I really like that movie. Like,
No, I get it. No judgment here.
That's the one where he's saving his friend.
Is that?
I don't.
Yes.
I haven't caught up with
Yes, with the long hair, Mahalia. Bucky, yes.
Okay, I was right. I was hesitant, but I was right.
We seen Avengers together.
I know. I haven't watched all the
Marvels
movies. Like I haven't watched. I don't think I saw the Ant-Man, like the second one. I saw the first one.
And that's like a necessary watch. But Winter Soldier is like one of the better.
I think I believe I have seen. There's just so many. That's the problem. There's so many.
There's a lot, but I really do like that one. Gosh, I can't think of like that one comes to mind every time someone asks me. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna beat myself up after.
Yeah, then you're gonna be, oh no.
Yeah, I know I am, but I can't think of it at all.
I mean, it's a good movie. I liked it. It's definitely one of the top. Yeah, and I don't like Captain America as a character a lot, but I like. It's just I like Iron Man so much.
I mean, I understand why you would like Tony Stark. But
you're comparing Iron Man and Captain America.
I'm not. I just don't understand how you don't.
I mean, if you're comparing the two of them, that's what I meant. Sorry. If you're comparing the two of them, I'm always going to go towards Iron Man. He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's a jerk, but he's amazing.
Why don't you like Captain America like that?
He's too polished for me.
Oh my God. You know what it is? It's because he's hot. Eric doesn't like hot people.
What? What is that statement?
I don't know.
Thank you. Wow,
I'm just
Mom,
tired at this point.
Yes, you are tired. It's just he's too polished. He's just a clean.
Is he he's too much of a clean character for
yes.
you? Too much of a Clark Clint?
Yes. That's the thing. It's not he's too, and dude, you have Iron Man who's struggling with his ego the entire movie. He's like, am I Iron Man or am I Tony Stark? And Captain
America's like, no, I'm Captain America.
Yeah, just stop, bro.
Okay, I understand.
He's like, stop.
Okay, sorry, Kayla. Any other movies?
I really feel so bad because I'm gonna kick myself over any other movies. I mean, it's so crazy because usually people ask me on Tinder and I have like the stuff to go to. But like, so I'm just like, man, I don't know.
I mean, Captain America Winter Soldier is a good movie.
That's a good one, but I just know that there are like other ones. I know for sure, and I'm like,
that's okay. We know this is a loaded question. That's why it's so much fun to ask.
Every single one. Golly, I can't.
Okay, yeah, that's all right. Would you mind sharing your social media with the audience so that way they can follow you?
Yes, my social media for both Twitter and I'm not really on Twitter that much, but Instagram is at Kayla Kayla, and then Sutton's Suttons.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you can also follow Kayla's podcast, which is Sutton's Podcast, on Instagram. Check that out as well. What is your podcast about?
I mean, I was trying to rebrand it into some sort of something, but it was really just whatever I wanted to rant about.
Yeah.
And like, it's just a bunch of rants is what I feel like. So I was trying to revamp it, but I never like did it because, But I want to focus it in the future, like, because I do meet a lot of people that are in film, so I wanted to like focus it on film in the future.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice. Well, we support all podcasts on The Struggle Is Real. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you later. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed Kayla's interview. I know Eric and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Funny.
I just want to go ahead and say that I apologize for my demeanor today. I have a throbbing migraine, and so if you see that like my attitude or my demeanor is a little off today, that's why this
lies. She's just an angry person.
Liar.
She treats us badly every single day. Guys.
Please help us.
My head hurts so bad that I'm not even gonna respond to you two. This is how you know that my migraine is killing me.
Don't worry. We'll take care of you. Okay.
That sounded
I want to
creepy.
say if I go missing, you know who did it.
It's Ryan.
You know who did it.
I'm too
And
busy.
he's the accomplice.
Mm-hmm.
But
My handy dandy
Don't touch
accomplice.
me.
oh, it hurts to laugh. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please go to Kayla's Instagram, support her and her podcast. Go to our Instagram, support us, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM. The more you support this channel, the more we can grow. You can also now be a monthly subscriber on Anchor FM. So you can do different tiers of donations. So you can donate like $1 a month or like $5 a month or maybe even $20 a month. And I think there's a customized option as well. But doing that would really help support us because, you know, it takes money to make this thing work. And right now we're just running that expenses ourselves. So it would be really helpful if you guys can like, support, and donate. Also check out our merch store. We should be having new merch soon. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Gentlemen, you have anything else to say?
You know, like I said, keep creating, people.
What?
I thought you said keep Koreaning people.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, Ryan.
Excuse me.
As
Are you
a
making
Korean.
Fun of my accent? That's racist.
Ryan, you don't even have an accent.
Okay. Actually,
You don't
I have an
have
accent.
an
Bro.
Okay. To be honest, my tongue slipped. So
So instead of admitting
Anyways.
to your faults, you accuse me of racism.
Okay, I apologize.
Unbelievable.
I apologize. Okay, but hey, for real, keep creating, people.
Yes, keep creating, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching and listening. Bye.
Bye.